COVID-19 pandemic poses an existential threat to small businesses, with more than 400,000 lost since the crisis began. Many small businesses are financially fragile and not equipped to weather a prolonged period of substantially reduced revenues. Further widespread business failure would destroy jobs and firm-specific capital and hamstring the recovery. The main existing sources of support, the Paycheck Protection Program, has been made mixed success and is not well suited to what now looks to be a prolonged contraction. Thanks for joining us today on TV and Business Daily. I am Chiwendo Osisiago. Today we shall be discussing on reviving failing businesses in the face of COVID-19. My guests will discuss more on the topic, but before we proceed with that discussion, let's look at the business updates for today. The federal government on Tuesday said about 24.3 million poor Nigerians will get 5,000 naira each for a period of 6 months. This translates to 729 billion naira within the 6-month period. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Farouk, said this at the inauguration of the federal government emergency intervention database for the urban poor. A statement issued in Abuja by the Minister Aide Nneka Anibeze said the intervention would serve as caution for those further impoverished by the COVID-19 pandemic. The statement said, in part, according to records, about 24.3 million poor and vulnerable individuals were identified at the end of 2020 and registered into the National Social Register. Farouk said the intervention database was needed to develop the capacity for rapid response to any emergency, including natural or man-made disasters. Transactions in the Nigerian equity market on Tuesday closed on a negative note as losing strike extended to the second consecutive trading day following sell-off on some high-value stock. However, the market bright closed positive according to 43 gainers and 21 losers. Consequently, the all-share index dipped 30.75 basic points or 0.07% to close at 41,051.63 index points as against 41,082.38 recorded the previous trading section, while market capitalization of equities depreciated by 16 billion naira from 21.49 trillion naira the previous day to 41.47 trillion naira as market sentiment remained on the negative territory. Meanwhile, turnover of 912.86 million shares exchanged in 5,076 deals was recorded in the day's trading. The premium subsector boosted by the activities in the shares of Zenith Bank PLC and Asset Bank PLC followed with a turnover of 86.51 million shares in 1,608 deals. The federal government recorded a fiscal deficit of 451.22 billion naira in October 2020. The Central Bank of Nigeria disclosed it in the monthly economic report for October, which was released on Tuesday. Part of the report read that 616.35 billion naira gross federally collected revenue in October 2020 was below the budget benchmark by 27.2%. According to the report, the total federal government debt outstanding as of end of June 2020 was 31.01 trillion naira, with domestic and external debt components accounting for 57.6% and 42.4% of the total debt stock respectively. Due to the slow pace of global economic recovery and the resurgence of COVID-19 cases in some Europe, Asia and Latin American countries, which depressed global demand and dampened crude oil prices, the federally collected revenue in October 2020 amounted to 616.35 billion naira, reflecting a shortfall of 27.2% relative to the 846.84 billion naira budget benchmark. The Nigerian Stock Exchange has disclosed that the federal government of Nigeria raised over 2.36 trillion naira from the capital market in 2020. The Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Oscar Oyema, stated this at the 2020 Market Recap 2021 Outlook on Tuesday. He said the federal government issuance amounted to 92% of total bond issuance in the market. He noted that corporates also leveraged the low-yield environment to fund expansion objectives and pursued debt refining, raising a total of 192 billion naira. Delivering his presentation, Oyema stated that this year, 2020, was indeed a historic one for global capital markets, facing buffeting headwinds. World markets saw sharp swing and step losers. And that's the business update on Television Nigerian. I am Chiwendu Osisiago. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back shortly.
My name is Chiwendu Osisiago, presenter Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed, and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business. I mean, your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all the social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
Thanks for staying with us on the program, and if you're just joining us, it's TVN Business Daily. Like I said earlier, we shall be discussing on reviving failing businesses in the face of COVID-19. My guest is in the studio. She's an entrepreneur, and she also owns an NGO here in Abuja, Mrs. Chika Ofo. You're welcome to TVN Business.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here again. Happy New Year, by the way.
Yeah, Happy New Year. This is the first time I'm seeing this year.
Yes, this year, yes.
And I must confess, you look so good. I mean, this New Year is actually very good for you.
Yes. We have to believe it.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much. Okay, now let's talk about the reviving failing businesses in the face of COVID-19. Looking back to 2020, you realize that a lot of people actually lost their jobs and a lot of businesses actually crashed. But to you as an entrepreneur, do you agree to it?
Yes, a lot of businesses crashed. It's also affected us. So it's not like we're not affected. But you have to now rethink your strategy. The truth of the matter is that the reality as we see it today is that businesses are seriously affected. So you ask yourself, okay, my business is affected. What are my next steps? That's whether you like it or not, you have to get to that point and take a decision. The good part of it is that you keep failing forward. Let me give you an example. Like in Delta State, we empower women and youths, you know. And this period, a lot of them, their businesses cannot stand alone anymore. Some of them have rented shops, people are not coming, people don't have money. So it's time to rethink your strategy. And the strategy is what? We talked about it, and what did we agree? The best thing to do is that the person who is a hairdresser, who had a shop before, and the person who is a barber, who had a shop before, and the person who is doing makeup, who has a shop before, should come together and then rent one shop. So instead of you to now have separate shops, you now rent one shop. It reduces your cost instantly. This is the time to start to share shops, start to share expenses. Because that's the first thing, because the first thing that happens to you as an entrepreneur is, how do I pay my rent? Because the year has ended, many people are going to be paying rent at this time. That thing scatters your brain. So once you have arrived at that, to say, okay, maybe your shop is in a better location. I'm just giving an example. Maybe you're paying 500,000 for this small shop, and you can't handle it alone. So why don't you get 3-4 people that have businesses that can align with your business? Like a salon will align with a barbing place, and then a barbing place will align with a makeup place. You see what I'm saying? And if 3 or 4 of us come together to share that rent, it is no longer 500,000 that you'll be paying. You'll be paying 500,000 divided by 4. So that's one step. And then if you discover that you have a particular skill, maybe you were working in a place and they had to let you go. Because if you're working, for instance, an NGO that has to write grants and other kind of thing, and then suddenly the NGO doesn't get any grants anymore because of COVID-19. So they tell you to go. But you have a skill, and the skill is that you're a grant writer. You can write good grants. Instead of saying, somebody says, come and write grant, you say 1.something million. No. Reduce costs. develop a good strategy to say, okay, I'm very good at writing grants. There are some other organizations that are looking for people who can write. So you give yourself an option. It's either, excuse me, please, if I write this grant and it's successful, there's a particular aspect that has to do with monitoring and evaluation. Can I take charge of that aspect? Can I be a consultant for that aspect and get paid? You see? You will support them to write the grant and you take a particular portion. Or before, if you were taking 1.something million to write a grant, now you can say, whatever it is, can I take 100,000 for now? And after taking the 100,000, if the grant gets successful, can I take another this as a consultant? This is the time for you to start to renegotiate. It's not a time to put things in front of you that at the end of the day, nobody will hire you. So we have to come together and re-strategize. We have to rethink our strategy. We have to decide to make it in 2021. And that's a choice. There's always a way. I believe that. Always a way.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Chika. Okay, now you spoke about people coming together to probably rent a shop,
yes,
like 4 people. But nowadays, Nigerians will not want to do that to avoid conflict. But we advise them, instead of renting a shop, can't they just do it online? Advertise yourself online and let people know which is better.
You do both.
Okay.
One is not enough. If you advertise online, it's not enough. Because there's some customers that you have that don't go online. So you do both. You do online and then you have a store. There's some people who will not talk to you except you have a shop. But if you cannot do that, then that means your phone has to be very, very fiery to be sending messages to people and saying, but guess what? People may not even want you to come to their houses. People are there's security issue, there's so many issues. So whatever strategy that you feel will work for you, it's okay. Because for me, you should do the one of letting people know that you can come and do home service. You should do the one of having a shop for people who don't want to come to, who don't want you to come to their houses. Of course, observing all the COVID protocol. And then you should do the online as well. It keeps you out there. You have to be bold. You have to come out. And then there's other people that you finish university, there are no jobs, things are really difficult for a lot of people. Go and volunteer. They don't want to employ people without experience. That's how the world is. The world is not fair. And then now it's even worse. Go and volunteer in organizations. Let people know your skill. How can I know your skill if I have not worked with you? How can I know the value that you're bringing to my table if I have not worked with you? I have to at least try you. There's some people that are very good in social media. They have followers, they know, they can be on social media from morning till night and no challenge. This is the time for you to come up and let people test your skill. It's not to charge immediately. If you charge immediately, you've never worked for me before, so I don't know what you're capable of. So I don't care. If you tell me, come and pay 100,000, I'll say, please get out. You understand what I'm saying? But if you have worked for me before, or even if you don't want to work for me, you tell me, let me do it for you. And I see the value you are bringing to the table. When you now say, I want to charge, I will calculate it. This guy worked for me for free. Because of what he brought to me on social media, I was able to get this business, that business. I was able to make social amount of money because of this person's skill. So that means I really need this skill. So I'm willing to spend another 200,000 because I know that this person is going to bring this. Who doesn't want to succeed? But when people do not know your capacity, it's not the time to negotiate.
Okay, now with this old COVID-19, do you think it still have an impact or effect on businesses, on small business?
Of course. 2020, we just left 2020. We're just entering 2021. So the businesses that have failed in 2020 cannot all of a sudden rise in 2021. So you have to start rethinking, how do I cope? How do I manage? You understand what I'm saying? Maybe you were selling Gary, last year, and unfortunately, people were not buying as much as possible, and your business failed. You ate all your profit. This is the time to ask yourself, so what do I do? What do I do now? How do I get my business? How do I get my mojo back? This might be the time for you to now go and see somebody who is a wholesaler in Gary and say, please, can you give me Gary wholesale? I will be selling and I will be bringing the money for you. And then when you are going to meet such a person, you must come with a strategy that is beneficial to the person. Maybe the person has plenty Gary. You suddenly know the person has plenty and nobody is buying from the person. You now come and say, I have a strategy. Gary has an expiry date, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. So this Gary is going to expire in the next 6 months. or 5 months. But I have my old customers. If you give me the garri to sell to my old customers, as I'm selling it, whatever it is that I make, I will return your money to you, and then you'll still be able to make a little amount of money. It is the point I'm raising here is it is important that you don't stop moving.
You need to keep moving.
You have to keep moving. You fail forward. If you try it, this one didn't work, you try another one, it didn't work. As you see me here, as they see me so, let me say I'm a worry babe. Pigeon. My pigeon is completely done. As you see me here so, if tomorrow everything collapses, I will carry down my certificate, dust down, go start to look for work. If I see work, we go talk say they go pay me any amount of money better than where I am presently, I go first take down one whole body first. At least make I the chop. Then I have a plan for myself. As they do the work, they go. I will know what next steps to take. But when you are hungry, you can't even think. So take what is available in front of you. Think your strategy. Find out what is happening. There are so many free courses online about how to improve your business, how to work your business during this Covid-19. Go online and look for them. They're there. There's one they call Philips. Free courses online. They're all over the place. And then don't be lazy. And then, you know the good thing, the best thing that happened to you during this period. You see that thing they call pride. Take it and throw it away. You don't need it this period. That thing they call pride. Throw it away and look for what will work for you. Start. If it's volunteerism, if it's sharing office with people to get your business going, is supporting businesses by writing grants, helping people to develop different kinds of strategy so that you can get money. This is the time to do all those things. Is to go and sell for someone. Go ahead. If it's to dust your certificate, go and look for a job, even lower than what you were doing before. Do it. Whatever it is that will make you eat this period, this is the time. Don't overthink the issue. Don't say, hey, I was DG, blah, blah, blah. This. But you're hungry. Abi? Yeah. The most important thing, this belly must full first before you start to have guy. There's no guy. You know they call pride and guy. I threw it away a long time ago. I don't even know where it is. So it's very important that your mind must be ready. Your mind first. You have to tell yourself the truth about your situation. I don't have a job. I don't have money. I need to survive. I don't want to steal. Then you will see that the ideas that you think were small ideas will start to come. I don't want pride. As they come, you start to say, okay, I will do A, I will do B, I will do C. You understand what I'm saying? So it's very important. Throw away the pride. Volunteer. In my page, a lot of people say they want to volunteer for me. I say a whole lot, hundreds. But they don't really want to volunteer. Many of them. Because when you would want to volunteer, they want you to pay them big money. So what is volunteerism? And then when you volunteer in my organization, we give you stipend for transportation, that type of thing. But when you want to volunteer and you want to even earn more than the people that are working there, then you're not yet serious. And so somebody wants to volunteer, they're already angry. They have anger issues. You know, these are the things that you have to do away with. People must trust you. People must believe you. You know, people must believe in your capacity. And the only way that people can believe in your capacity is when you have worked for them and they can see what you can do. You cannot say you're volunteering, you come to work today, you won't come to work tomorrow. You are not dependable. Nobody can depend on you. You're a joker.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Chika Ofo. Okay, now we'll be taking a quick break. Then after the break, we'll continue with our discussion. Please stay with us.
My name is Chiwendu Osisiago, presenter Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed, and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business. I mean, your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all the social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
Thanks for joining us again once more on the program. And if you're just joining us again, it's TVN Business Daily. And we've been discussing on reviving failing businesses in the face of COVID-19. My guest has been talking to us on that. She's an entrepreneur and she owns an NGO here in Abuja, Mrs. Chika. But for now, I wanted to ask, as you were talking about people that lost their jobs last year. Now, if they want to start up a business, what are the ideas you can give to them as an entrepreneur that you are?
Okay, it's always good to start from the known to the unknown. What can you do? So for instance, if you have lost your job, maybe, like I keep giving the example of the NGO because that is a space that has lost, people have lost a lot of jobs there. So there was something you were doing in that organization. Maybe you were the program manager, or maybe you were the program officer, maybe in M&E, or different kinds of duties. That is where you have your capacity. What you start to do is look for people that have, either there are two ways. Is either you look for other people who have lost their jobs and collaborate. No collaboration, I believe in collaboration. I don't work alone, that's why I like Liverpool. I never work alone, never. I always collaborate because I know that people have different ideas. The first thing is try to look for, if I was the one, the first thing I would collaborate. All of us, I will ask around who has lost that, all of us come together and develop ideas together as a group. Of course, when you're developing these ideas, make sure you sign an MOU so that nobody will run away. What an MOU does for you, it makes people realize that there is legal backing. There's a legality to this thing that we're doing. No matter how small it is, no matter how small the collaboration is, it's very important that you have an MOU. That you are taking care of the M&E, I'm taking care of it, and none of us will share this program to another person. It makes people realize that they have a legal issue here. So if you default in any of this, you can be sued. It helps a lot. So that's one. So that's another way. So you have a group minds coming together. You'll be surprised. You cannot develop an idea. You can apply. There's a place called Funds for NGO. They charge about $50 a year. There's so many different NGOs that have whatever it is that they do are in that place. So you can apply for grants from there. So that's one. So if you do not investigate, if you're not inquisitive, if you don't inquire, if you don't know, you don't know. And if you know, you know.
Okay.
You start from there. Then apart from that, if you discover that that's not your strength, there's some people that can't collaborate with people. Maybe they are introverted, they like to work alone. Some people like that. So you can go and volunteer in an organization. Don't keep quiet. First and foremost, you're fighting two things. You're fighting financial incapacitation, and you don't want to also have psychological incapacitation. You understand what I'm saying? So it's better for you go to a non-profit that you feel you can contribute to them, or any organization. It doesn't have to be a non-profit. Any organization you feel you can contribute to them. As you go there and contribute, your brain will start to work and you will feel better. At least when you leave your house every day and go out, you will feel better. And then there, you contribute and then you can negotiate. Excuse me, please. You don't have to give me money now, but I will help you do A, B, C, D, E. Then, if I'm able to deliver on it, then you pay me this. There's nobody that will not agree. Because you're not asking for money immediately. Yeah. You're asking for money based on what you're bringing to the table. The challenge I have most times is that people want to get paid before they do the work. And then, as an entrepreneur, I remember when we had a garden, an event center in Lagos, and then it's in a remote area at Ajah. And we didn't have too many customers coming in. So we needed somebody who's a marketer, who has the capacity to pull in customers. So we advertised online. A lot of people came. There was this particular person who came and said, you know what, I have connection. I've been in this business for a very long time. I will pull in a lot of customers for you. Every month you have nothing less than 20 events that you'll be doing. I promise you that. So I said, fantastic. So he said, but what I want you to pay me is 300,000 a month. I said, sure, you say you're going to bring a lot of customers.
When you bring them.
So when you bring the customers, we'll give you 10% of the profit. Because at the end of the 10% of profit, we'll give you nothing less than 2 million in a month or 1 million in a month. And the guy said no. And what did he say as an entrepreneur? What does that tell you? He's not going to be able to bring those people. Because if truly he had the connection, as he said, Abi, I would rather take that one of running around, bringing the customers. At the end of the day, I'll be more concerned with writing an MOU with you to be sure that when I bring the customers, you will give me my money. But he refused. He wanted you to be paying him 300,000 because immediately it dawned on me that this man doesn't have the capacity that he says he has. He's lying. He wants to eat your money for the next 6 months and then walk away and then go to another organization. That is the impression. But if you know that you know, you know what I'm saying? If you know that you know, and there's some people who have customers, they can bring many customers. That is a skill that is very difficult to get. If you know that that is your strength, then you can use it to negotiate with any organization to say, is this what you do? I can assure you that I'm going to bring so number of customers, and when I bring them, what I want from you is A, B, C, D. And the person says, are you sure? Yes, I am sure. Let's write it down. Won't the person agree?
Definitely agree.
Thank you.
All right, now before we conclude, Ma, what do you think the government is actually doing for these filling businesses?
Oh, wow. The government. Humanitarian is giving 5,000, I think.
Okay.
5,000 can really not do anything. It's just to feed. And it's such a large amount of money. By the time they say 5,000 to the whole, there's too many Nigerians, there are 5,000. And I can assure you, not everybody will get it. And then what is the system that they're going to use to check, to make sure that if those people get that money? So I would advise for that particular one, because when the money comes, it's going to be shared to states. Because the money is going to be given to the whole 36 states and one, which is FCT, 37, more or less. And then from there, when it gets to the state, it's going to be shared according to LGA. All the local government areas will get. So, as NGOs, as individuals, it's not to come on social media and talk. It's to drill down to the state, drill down to the LGA, drill down to the ward, drill down to the community. You will know whether the money got there or not. Because Nigeria there's a structure. You have national, you have states, you have LGA, you have ward, you have community. By the time you investigate it in that way, and when you notice, they say, we have given this community, you ask questions. You say you have given, I'm just giving an example, FCT, so amount of millions. So which particular area of FCT did you give it to? There are 6 area councils. Which area councils did you do? And then when they tell you the area council, you go and ask the chairman of each of the area councils, did you receive so amount of money? If the area council chairman says, I don't receive anything, no, I did not receive, then you know that there's a problem. Or if the people says, yes, they gave us for 50 people, but maybe what they are announcing is 100,000 people. You might say, no, they didn't give us, this is what they gave us. Then by the time you start to ask, and everybody's bang, 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 asking, it's easy to drill down, it's easy to check. You will see that at least that one, they will give more than they will give to an extent. Then the next one I'm talking about now is government has come up with a lot of loans, soft loans for people that want to go into different kinds of businesses. They're focusing a lot on agriculture for these soft loans. If you know that you have the capacity for agriculture, like I said, collaboration for me is always key. If you know you are good at snail farming, me I'm good at yam farming, the other one is good, you form your cooperative and go and access these loans. They are available. But many times is when you do not have this collaboration, you don't have the right proposal, people that can help you write the right proposal, you know, then you have a challenge. So get up, let all of us get up and start to investigate, see how you can access these things, and then access them. They're there. Of course, private sector should not be left behind. The private sector should please support the government. Government cannot do it alone. It's a huge task. It's a huge task. Whatever it is you can do in your own community, we have what we call in my NGO vaccine network, we have what we call adopt your community. In your community, don't come and adopt anybody in my community. In your own community, take one person, 2 persons, support their business with 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira, 15,000 naira. You can also support somebody in your community. 10,000 naira. Imagine I support, you support, everybody that has little will support. Before you know it, people will not be crying so much. It helps a lot. In Imo State, we supported many women. In Delta, we supported many women. FCT, we support every minute. And because of that, we have people who give us money to support. Like now, in your own community, maybe you don't trust that the money will get there. You can get someone to help you, and then you monitor. We support businesses, and then we make sure that they form cooperatives. We make sure that they open accounts. And before you know it, some of the women that we supported this December opened the savings group. We have what they call a savings group. We made them open a savings group and then they saved for 2 years, 200 naira. And then we added extra 5,000 naira to them. They opened the safe in December last year. And then they had a lot of money to buy more goods. And while other people were crying, they were not crying. They were celebrating, singing and dancing and selling and smiling to the bank.
Oh, that was good. All right, thank you, Ma, for that. Now your final conclusion, because we're behind schedule.
Okay, my final conclusion is that don't give up. Try your best. Collaborate. Volunteer. Use your skill. Charge less for those skills. Let people be able to understand what your skill sets are and use it in those organizations before you start to negotiate. Because what people don't know, they cannot appreciate. Don't worry. As you fail forward. Keep trying. Don't give up. And we'll be fine.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Chika. She said it all to people, our viewers out there. She said you should not give up, use your skills, try and volunteer for organizations, and also keep trying. Definitely one day we'll all smile. All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Chika, for coming on TV and Business today. Just good to have you.
Yes, it's an honor to be here.
Thank you.
Yes.
And that's the much we'll have for you today on TV and Business Daily. I am Chirando Osisiago, and don't forget that you can follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Do have a wonderful day. Bye for now.
Bye.